At Rebellyous Foods, we make plant-based alternatives to common processed chicken products. Things like nuggets, patties, and tenders. But that's far from being the most important thing that we do. We're on a mission, not merely to make products delicious and nutritious, but also to completely reimagine the entire manufacturing process for plant-based meat. Why? Because we are so far behind. All the plant-based meat in the world equals only a fraction of a % of the market for animal meat. It will take nothing short of an engineering revolution to unlock the availability and low costs required to truly disrupt industrial animal agriculture. But here's what we're up against. Chicken is cheap. At least that's the conventional wisdom. You might be surprised to learn that the raw ingredients in a typical soy-based nugget cost more than twice those of a chicken nugget. It's counterintuitive. I mean, chickens are pretty much fed the same stuff we use to make our nuggets, and then they do a really inefficient job at turning it into chicken meat. So how can it possibly be cheaper? Here's how. The conventional wisdom is wrong. Although the price of chicken is low, in reality, it's incredibly expensive. Chicken is only cheap because all of us pay its costs. Let's start with water. According to the USDA, 1 pound of chicken meat has about 1,100 calories and 123 grams of protein, while a pound of soybeans has a little over 2,000 calories and 166 grams of protein. So how much water does it take to create those 1 pound bundles of nutrients? For the soybeans, it's about 1 1/4 gallon. But 1 pound of chicken meat, it takes 468 gallons of water to produce. Let's look at it another way. The water required to produce 1 pound of chicken meat could produce 374 pounds of soybeans. With water security being one of the most urgent problems facing our growing population, who pays that water cost? We all do. As for that pound of soy, well, you'd need to feed about 5 times that to the chicken to get about 1 pound of meat. That means 5 times the land required to grow the feed, 5 times the fertilizer, and 5 times the fuel to farm, transport, and process it. And we're talking about land that we simply don't have. That's why carbon-saving forests are being cleared at a disturbing rate to grow food for animals instead of for us. And guess who pays the cost for habitat loss and carbon pollution caused by this inefficient use of land? We all do. And since the demand for chicken meat is projected to grow even faster than our population, it's important to think about the sheer number of animals that we're talking about. Within a single human lifespan, chicken has grown from the occasional easy meal for the budget conscious to the planet's go-to protein staple. According to the USDA, in 1960, the annual per capita consumption of chicken in the US was just 28 pounds. Today, just 60 years later, it's up to 98 pounds. And by 2027, it's projected to be almost 106 pounds, an increase of nearly 280%. And that's per person. Consider that number along with our population boom, and it becomes easy to see why chicken farming has had to become consolidated, industrialized, and inhumane. The idea of happy pasture-raised chickens may be a romantic notion, but it can't even begin to address this kind of demand at any price. As a result, vastly more chickens suffer the consequences of industrial farming than all other land animals combined. Each year in the United States, we kill over 390 million cattle, pigs, and turkeys for meat. But that's nothing compared to the nearly 9 billion chickens killed each year. In fact, more than 95% of all land animals killed for food are chickens. And that number is projected to grow by 25% in just 5 years. I believe there is a cost to our humanity associated with killing over 25 million of these sentient creatures in the US alone, every single day. And it's one that all of us pays in one way or another. But perhaps no one pays more than the people who work directly in the chicken processing industry. According to the US Department of Labor, in 2019, there were about 125,000 people working in chicken processing plants. Their median wage was 36% lower than the overall median, with the majority earning annual salaries that fell below the federal poverty limit. And this is in spite of the dangers of the work. Poultry processing workers face a rate of workplace injury and illness that is much higher than the US average. And the work is so dangerous and demanding that the annual turnover rate is 100%. Remember, these statistics were compiled before COVID-19. While much of the economy was shut down, this underpaid workforce was declared to be essential, forcing them back to an even more hazardous workplace. No one pays the price more than poultry workers themselves. And when society becomes their safety net, it's a price that, once again, all of us pay. So as you can see, cheap as it is, chicken isn't nearly the bargain it's cracked up to be. At Rebellyous Foods, we're focused on changing the way plant-based meat is made so that we can get the price down and the availability up. That is our real mission. Because at the end of the day, it isn't really the price of chicken that concerns us. It's the cost.